Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. And today we are doing our 2026 NBA All Star predictions. Right now, we're just over a quarter of the way into the season. I have my co host here, Yao Bonsu. And yeah, we're excited to talk about this. Honestly, we kind of, exchanged some notes before this call. And we both honestly felt like this year's, All Star game selections were not that difficult, honestly. They were kind of easy. I felt like the bar that's being cleared for those last spots, there's some clear separation between our last guys, at least for my guys, and Yao clearly feels the same way because we both had this exact same thought. But yeah, let's get into it. So to be clear, the way we're doing this, right, is we're doing it the standard East versus West, and the NBA is reverting to the international, not reverting, sorry, the NBA is moving towards the international versus Team World versus Team USA format. And the way it's going to work, right, is it's going to be 8 players, of course, on Team World, and then another team of 8 players in Team USA. So there's going to be two Team USAs and then 8 players on Team World, if that makes sense, right? And if there's not enough Team World players, for example, if there's only 6, they're just going to add an additional 2, 3 names. And of course, there's some players who kind of could potentially fit the mold for both of those, right? We have like Carl Anthony Towns, for example, who's Dominican, or a lot of guys, honestly, who I think that it might be a little borderline, and we'll just have to wait to see how they're actually going to decide that. But yeah. Why don't you start us off with wherever you want to go from?
Yeah, so even though it's 8 versus 8 for the actual All-Star game, we're voting our 12 from each conference regardless of position. So just wanted to put that out there too. You want to start with
Right,
you want me
because
to
that
start
is
with the
all.
West or the East?
The entire game now is positionless too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You want me to start with the Western Conference or the Eastern Conference?
Let's do. How about let's do starters for both conferences? I feel like that makes sense,
Starters
right?
for both conferences. Okay. So my starters in the Western Conference, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Kevin Durant, and
Mm.
Victor Wembanyama. Now,
Wow. Okay.
I
We went into this and we said we thought it was going to be easy, but we've got some, I think,
well,
clear disagreement
I
already
didn't
here.
I didn't go with who I wanted. I went with who I think will get in. So I'm taking into account 50% fan
So
voting,
you really think
25%
that
media.
you think
Oh
that
yeah,
Wemby
for
is going to
sure.
be like
Oh
a
yeah.
starter,
Yeah.
even though he has missed. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big point of contention, of course. But I mean, how many games
Yeah.
has he missed again? He's missed like close to half the season at this point, or at least like a
Yeah,
third of it, right?
he is he will be an all-star starter
Okay, you know
cuz
what? Here's what I'll say. Sorry, if he's gonna keep on playing games, and by the time we're rolling to February, I think it's fine if he's missed like 10 games like he has so far. So I'm with you on that. Honestly, I think if we're just like if we're doing a game like right now, it's hard for me to say, oh, I think Wemby should be a starter because of the fact that he's missed basically half the season so far. But yeah, by the time we're rolling to February, when the game's actually happening and he's playing well, like he's like sorry keeps on playing games. Yeah, he'll have like 40 games played by then. I can I'll give you that. Yeah.
but even then the fans love him. That's number 1. So that's 50% there. The media is not going to leave Wemby out. And then the players are not going to say, "Oh, Wemby didn't play enough games." Like the players know Wemby is that dude. So,
I think the sticking point would be the media on that aspect. If it's like, because the media is the ones who they're the ones who love like they're like getting it quote unquote right. Like the players don't care about getting it right as much, and the fans obviously don't care about getting
I
it
agree.
right
But
as
also
much.
also the new
And to
format,
be clear,
like Team USA versus
yeah,
World. You're going to want
I,
Wemby
I,
as a
I was gonna
starter.
say, Yao and I are both doing this based on like kind of basically they're just like our mid-season All NBA teams essentially. We're not doing
Mhm.
that like BS where it's like, oh, I want to see that player play versus like you know guys who we think are actually even better than other people. In my opinion, at least, the All Star game should just be should that's what it should be set up as basically just like kind of like your mid-season All NBA teams. And I know people disagree. I just think it's. I mean, we use these as like Hall of Fame, like legacy conversations. I would say, oh, this player was like a 12-time All Star.
Yeah.
It's Yeah, and of course some players have some, BS ones like Yao Ming has like quite a couple of them, which he probably shouldn't have made. He made when he was playing. He played like 2 games the whole season, right? Thanks to fan vote. But
Hmm.
just for like the way we're doing this, at least, it's who we think has been like the best players of the season so far.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
So that's
So
why
let
you
me
want me to
sorry,
go
let
through
me
my
recap that quickly. So
question.
you got Luca, you have Shea,
Yep.
you have KD, you have
Hmm.
Wemby, and you have Jokic, right? That's your five.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So you have KD then over Anthony Edwards.
I do. Yeah, I do have KD over Anthony Edwards. I mean,
I would love to hear some of your reasoning for why that's the case then.
first off, the Rockets have a better record, right?
True. At this point,
And
we do. Yeah.
I think the fans like KD more than they do Anthony Edwards at this point in time. I think the media,
Really?
like, I think the media
I you
wants
think that
KD.
the fans love KD more than Anthony Edwards? What
I
was the
do.
voting results last?
The last year's voting results. Well, the Sun sucked. That's the thing, though. The Sun sucked, but this
But
year,
I don't know if the Suns like sucking has would matter that much.
well,
So
that's
like
why
okay,
I don't have.
last year the Suns sucked and KD got 3.1 million votes and Ant got 1.2 million votes. So you're right. Like even though the Suns suck, KD got 3 times as many votes as Anthony Edwards. So okay, you're
Yeah,
probably all
people
right
love
then.
their
I had
offense.
Ant over KD honestly. Um, I just I mean to me like one if you look at the numbers right, I just feel like the load that Anthony Edwards is carrying right now on offense is just incredibly high. I think he's a lot more important to the Wolves than KD is to the Rockets right now. He's basically playing like point guard full time, along with playing like shooting guard, being their primary scorer.
In less minutes, by the
I
way.
know the Wolves are like struggling a little bit more. Say it again, sorry.
In less minutes. Like Ant is averaging more points. He's also shooting
Yeah,
50% from the field. He's only shooting slightly worse from three, and he's doing that in less minutes than KD is. And KD is
yeah. I
averaging
mean, like,
25 points.
yeah. If we just like look at the overall like the totality of this, right? Like, Anna's averaging 28.7 points per game, 4.9 rebounds, 3.8 assists, and again defensively, 0.8 blocks a game. One of the better shot. This is one of the better shot blocking seasons from a guard that we've seen, right? And then, like you mentioned, he's shooting really well, of course, and true shooting wise, honestly, not as good as you might expect because his free throw rate just isn't like that great, 63.8%, which is still like far above average, of course. But that just, I mean, all of those like stats, just raw production, it kind of dwarfs what like Kevin Durant is doing.
So I
And
agree.
I think that defensively he's also been better in KD. Yeah.
I agree. But here's the thing. It's not about who's having the better season. It's not just about that. It's
Oh,
about
that's how I pick my teams. I'm picking it based on who I think has
yeah,
been
and
better.
that's a
Better.
great way to pick them. But if I'm making my predictions for who I think is going to be the All Star, it's going to be based on more than who's having the better season. It's going to be based on, all right, well,
So, so
if
you think that if you were picking, right, you would pick Anthony Edwards over KD, but you're
I would.
predicting that Kevin Durant is going to
I
get that
would.
spot
I'm
over. Okay.
predicting. Agreed. Yeah. Ant is
Uh,
actually. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's probably not even close. Like Anthony Edwards
mhm.
is having the better season than Kevin Durant. I actually don't think there's an argument for KD. However, if we're talking about All Stars, the fans like KD more. The media is gonna want to keep KD consistently a starter, and the Rockets are great. So that bolsters KD's ante
I
or argument to be a starter
I
even
think
more.
yeah okay, and then, honestly, I think the media is really a crapshoot because the media is kind of like I think that the media is I don't want to say the most quote unquote educated, but they're the ones who are the most like I mean, they're the ones who are going to be voting for the awards at the end of the season, of course, right?
Yeah.
Like if we're doing like all
Yep.
NBA teams right now, the media is going to vote for Anthony Edwards over Kevin Durant, right? For all NBA teams, they tend to get all NBA teams, I would say, like more or less correct. Um, okay, yeah, okay, but by that logic, okay, again personally, I would have Ant in. I'm fine with having Wemby in because I think by the time February rolls around, he will have played like enough games, and he'll have missed like 20% of the season versus like 50% right now. Yeah, everyone else though, of course, like Luca, Shea, Jokic, like
Those are locks here.
not even like a question about those. Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all.
Um, well, hey, sorry then, but moving on to the East.
Yes, my Eastern Conference starters: Giannis Antetokounmpo, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, and Jalen Brown over Tyrese Maxey. That last spot was between Brown and Maxey for me. I just think that the way the Celtics are able to still perform despite not have first of all, their whole team was overhauled. Like forget the Jason Tatum injury. Their entire team was overhauled and the Celtics are still
Right.
managing to be 16-11, top 4 in the Eastern Conference.
And like to be clear, like Jalen Brown's numbers this season, he's averaging 29 points per
Are
game so far, like 4.9 assists.
insane.
This is exactly
Insane.
what the Celtics were. Yeah, they needed this. Yeah, this is
Exactly.
exact. This is like
Exactly.
the best case scenario for what Celtics fans are hoping for when they're like, okay, if we want like Jalen Brown to lead us to like 46 wins or something, like this is exactly the type of season that he needed to
And I'm
have. And of
glad the
course, he's
voting is happening now because
yeah,
last game here's Jalen Brown's last 5 games: 30 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists; 34 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists; 30 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists; 30 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists; 30 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. He didn't play against Washington. I'll add one more game for you: 42 points, 4 rebounds, four
right.
assists. He is averaging a
He
career
was
high in points, best field goal
who
percentage
did
of
they
his
play today
career.
again? It was like a red team. Um,
It was well, they played the Heat. They played the Miami Heat.
was it the Heat? Okay, yeah, I didn't watch
Yeah.
tonight's game, but he was. I mean, I watched him playing against Detroit, of course. Um, yeah, I
So
mean that's
he's
I
having the best year of his career. So
yeah, and I
I
think
mean,
like Tyrese Maxey. I mean, obviously Tyrese Maxey started the season. He was playing like a top like five
an
player,
all
honestly, and
NBA, exactly, all NBA first, second
yeah,
team
I would
player.
say, so here's the thing with Tyrese Maxey though. He's playing 40 minutes a night, which is
That's crazy.
absolutely like that's
That's insane.
batshit crazy in
That's
today's NBA.
actually insane.
He's playing 40 minutes a night. Yeah. And his raw production is again, did you know wait, Tyrese Maxey is currently averaging a block a game, which is wild
That's
by the
actually
way, too.
for a
Um
guy his
I'm
height.
really
That's actually
fixating on blocks like yeah, I'm really fixating on blocks for some reason with these guards today, but I mean he's like 6'2 anyways. But yeah, he's averaging 31.5 points per game, 5 rebounds, 7.2 assists, 1.7 steals. He's been, his efficiency has been off the charts. He's getting to the line. He's shooting well from like everywhere on the court. He's a true three-level scorer. I think the issue is like Philly's momentum is kind of tapered off a bit, I guess, like record-wise, whereas the Celtics have
ascended.
had like a bit of they've ascended versus the beginning of the season when they were like 1-4 or something.
We're just trying to
I
figure it out.
Okay, sorry. So who were your picks again? You had Brunson,
I had
Brown.
Brunson, obviously, Cade,
Uh,
obviously, Giannis,
yeah,
obviously, Donovan Mitchell,
yeah.
obviously, and then Brown.
Mm. Here's so to be clear. So my picks coming into this, right, was I had Jalen Brown, I had Jalen Brunson, I had Cade Cunningham, I had Giannis, and I actually had Donovan Mitchell as my wait. Was that? Did I just give you? Yeah, I had Donovan Mitchell as my fifth guy, right? Um, but
Good.
honestly, now that I'm like thinking about this from the perspective of okay, like we know Giannis is like I think Giannis is honestly like if like we're making these picks right now, he's very much a fringe candidate given that
No,
he's
he's
only played
not.
17
No,
games.
he's not. No, he's not.
Sorry. What I meant was like maybe not fringe candidate. He's in right now, right? But again, if we're projecting this into February, and we don't know how many games Giannis is missing, right? But if we're rolling into the All Star game and Giannis is at like under 30 games played, I would not have him like in the game if I was picking it like myself. Like that's just like you can't miss like half the season and make this team for me.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so I will use that argument once we get to the
Right.
reserve. I will use that argument once we get to the reserves. I'm gonna hold my tongue for now, and I'm gonna say okay to that.
Okay.
But once we get to the
Yeah.
reserve,
So the reason why, honestly, I'm kind of bringing this up because to be clear, he was like, he's on my team like now, right? Um, but the timeline on his like calf is a little bit like murky right now. I'm just saying like if we're like projecting this out in like a few months in advance, like another like 2 months in advance, right? Well, I guess month and a half or something. Like if he's this stretches out for another few weeks, like I wouldn't be able to like put him in. I can't tell you that, oh, I think 30 games as Giannis is more valuable than 50 games of like Tyrese Maxey. Um, but yeah, I mean that's kind of my like rationale right now for really kind of pushing like Maxey to my fifth spot here. Um, I just feel like he's having a really underappreciated season. And the other guy, of course, is having a really underappreciated season, which we talked about a little bit before, is
Donovan
Donovan
Mitchell,
Mitchell.
Donovan freaking
Right.
Mitchell is having one of. Listen, man, I said this in our chat. There's a lot of years. There are a lot of years where Mitchell's season right now would be considered an MVP caliber season.
Yeah,
There are
I,
quite.
I'm still gonna
I don't want to go.
hard disagree. I don't think
I,
there's a single season in NBA history where Donovan Mitchell would win the MVP at this current stage,
20,
dude.
2011, 2011, 2011. Easy
No,
answer.
I don't think. Okay, you have
Did
to
Derrick
consider
Rose?
the fact that like there's like stats inflation right now. Like Mitchell's not. What is he in like in terms of
All right, all
scoring in
right,
the
all
league
right.
right now?
This guy, by the way, this guy also has an argument for most improved. I just want to say that real
No,
quick
he does, dude.
because
No, he does not.
this
Donovan Mitchell
guy,
does
no, no, no,
not
no.
have an
I'm
argument
not
for
even playing
most
around.
improved
I'm not
player.
even playing around. I'm not even playing around. Do you
He
realize
no he
this
dude,
guy
he
averaged
he's been like that. He has actually been like this, dude.
this guy? Well, yeah, he has been like this. This guy averaged 24 points per game last year for the top seeded Cavaliers.
But
He's up to
he averaged
31.
28 and you he averaged like 28
31.
his first year in Cleveland.
He did. He did. Like
Like this is
this
this last year was him just kind of relaxing on offense. That wasn't because
this
he was like he
guy,
got better.
he's averaging 31 points, career high in points, career high field goal percentage, near career high 3-point percentage,
I
near
will say,
career
yeah,
high
his
free
field
throw.
goal, his like 2 point percentage this season has been absolutely nuts. Like
This
it's off the
guy,
charts. Yeah, yeah,
this guy, we know the first team All NBA right now is Shea, Luka, Jokic, and then Giannis, and then whatever fifth player you want to throw in there, like
Giannis is
Cade
not. I'm
or
not taking
Wemby if
Giannis
he
over
plays on
Donovan
this
Mitchell
team.
for my all NBA teams right now, dude. I can't take a guy who's missed this many
Well,
games, man.
he, I truly believe that him, and I also said this in the chat, that Mitchell and Brunson are the two players they're the best players in the league, not considered the best players in the league. They're the
Yeah,
best
no,
second tier
I
guys.
agree with that. But I will say Donovan Mitchell has a better argument for MVP than he does for most improved. Okay,
All right,
I
well,
feel
that's
like
well, without question. But I see most.
you
I don't
can't
want
give
to
a
get too
guy
deep.
who's like averaging like who's already averaged 28 points per game in his career
I don't
before
want to.
like
I don't
most
want to get
improved.
too deep in the
I
rabbit
refuse
hole
to
here.
like I'm not
But
going down that like
I
I refuse
do.
to set that precedent. You
I
know?
do see. I do see most improved differently from the rest of the world. That's all I'll say for now. I do see it differently from the rest
Yeah,
of the world.
I mean, but like last he averaged a career low last year essentially. Like that's not like I don't know, man.
For a top seeded
But sorry.
team. For a top seeded team.
Right, yeah, because he was kind of just like chilling. Sorry, back to the actual point, like everyone's like, oh, the Cavs are struggling this year. Like, dude, they've been missing like their entire half their starting lineup every single game. They've been missing Darius
Yeah,
Garland. They've been
I
missing
don't
Jared
really
Allen.
understand. I don't understand the people getting sour on Cleveland. Like they're not healthy. Like what are you expecting?
Yeah, like
Donovan Mitchell is
they're
carrying the
we talked
boat.
about this last time, but they are Cleveland is literally just not healthy right now. I mean, we can talk about the
Yeah, like
fundamental
I'm not
issues, I
worried
guess,
about.
with like you can talk about okay, yeah, can they actually contend? Like that's a fair question, But the question of, oh, can they win like 50 games? That like are they like a 50 win caliber team? Like that's not even a question to me. They are like if they're healthy right now, they would be top of the standings along with like the Knicks and everyone and the
Easily,
Pistons and everyone else.
easily,
They're just
easily.
they're just missing half their starting lineup every single game. Yeah.
Hey, all I know is this, right? If the postseason began today and every team suddenly got healthy, nobody wants to see Cleveland. Nobody wants to see Cleveland. The Pistons don't want Cleveland in the first
And
round.
again,
They
even last year, right? Like Cleveland, they played that entire Pacers series hurt. Granted, it was still a legitimate win, by the way.
oh
But
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
Shall
so
we
sorry
get to some
for
reserve?
timing purposes. Yeah, for timing purposes. Also, we're getting a little bit of a lag here, so I'm sorry if I just cut you off. But I was gonna
No, you're
say
good.
let's move on to the reserve so we don't spend like half an hour talking about how good Donovan Mitchell is. Who,
Donovan
by
Mitchell.
the
I could
way, is
talk about
shooting like
Donovan Mitchell all day.
I was gonna say, by the way, Mitchell is shooting he's shooting 59.7% on two pointers this season. And this is someone who
Like
used to
this guy
shoot like
is
sub
fantastic.
50% from inside the arc,
He
which
is
is crazy.
amazing.
Yeah.
He is amazing. All right,
Okay.
but Western Conference
Um,
reserves. All right, I'll
hit
go
me.
first on these. So Anthony Edwards, of course, he was the fringe candidate for the
Right.
starting five for me. Steph Curry, Lauri Markkinen, Austin
Mm-hmm.
Reeves, Chet Holmgren, Denny Avdija, and
Okay,
Alperen
then yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Avdija, sorry, and Alperen Sengun. Now,
You don't
I
have
did not
Austin
have any
Reeves on
Clippers in
your
here. The
reserves
Clippers.
list.
No, I do.
Oh, did you? I might have
So
missed you saying
let me
that.
go. Yeah, Curry, Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, Lauri Markkinen, Austin Reeves, Chet Holmgren, Denny Advia, Alperen Şengün.
Okay, so you don't have Devin Booker on your
Devin
list
Booker, no.
either.
I did not have Devin. I mean, that was the
Okay.
hard thing.
Okay.
So Devin Booker, it was between Devin Booker and Denny. I mean, you could
I would
really
give it to
go
Danny over
either
Devin.
way,
I mean,
but
like again, I don't think you can. I think Devin Booker is more popular than Denny Avdija, of course, as a player. Like he's gonna get more fan votes. Actually, I don't know. It feels like they could, I think because he has a lot of course, Israeli fans, so they might also weigh in on that. In the
yeah,
U.S. at least, Devin Booker is more popular than Denny Avdija, but internationally, I can totally see like him receiving like a lot of fan votes that could carry the weight. Um, but yeah, honestly, Devin Booker. We don't. I mean, he started off the year playing pretty well, and I kind of tweeted about this, but his three ball, like the disappearance of his three ball, has been one of the biggest mysteries in the league. Like he came in the league as a guy who was, comped to like JJ Redick and Klay Thompson, right, as an off ball like movement shooter, and he came in hot. Like there was a while where he won a 3-point contest. He was one of the best shooters in the league for a bit, and then he kind of like started playing from the mid range a little bit more. And then over the last two seasons, I mean, last year he shot 33% from three, and we were like, oh, it's an off year. And this year he's shooting 30.4%, and he's shooting 21% on wide open threes.
career low 3-point
Right.
percentage, by the way.
It
So
is
I think it's
genuinely
the system
bizarre.
around
And by the
him.
way, I think like Kate Cunningham is the only player who's like even in that same realm. I think Kate Cunningham's shooting like 20, like 18% on wide open threes for some reason this season too. Which
Yeah, but he's
again
a
is
better
just
finisher at the rim than
very
Booker is.
bizarre. Oh, yeah, and by the way, back to like Cade, like of course, a shout out to Cade for making his first. He was an All Star last year, right? But this is his first appearance
Yeah,
as a starter, at least, right?
he will be a starter.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, yeah, but okay, I'm with you on that. I also had Booker looking on the outside looking in. My Western reserves are honestly identical with yours. I had Denny Avdija. I had Shat, who by the way is at least I think right as of right now the depoy front runner, but Wemby of course might probably will catch up, will make some huge gains in that regard as the season wears on. You have to reward OKC with two All-Stars in my opinion.
Yeah, you have to. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. However, however, there, you see, that's the hard part about rewarding, because that argument makes sense, absolutely. But then I have the Rockets having two All Stars. I have the Lakers having two All Stars. Would I say those teams deserve multiple All Stars? Not because of the team
Yeah, I
accomplishment.
mean it's all in the sense of like obviously OKC is more of a team effort, of course, right? Like
Yeah,
Shet is I would say Shet is less important to OKC than like KD is to the Rockets or like Austin Reeves is to the Lakers. Definitely Reeves. Well, yeah, like not even that's not even a question, I think, honestly. Um, like if Shet went down, obviously OKC's title chances go down significantly, but they're still gonna keep on winning games, like a lot of games. Whereas if KD goes down or if Austin Reeves goes down, both those teams are in pretty big trouble.
yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
And we kind of saw that last year when Chet was injured and had to come back, and he was great for the playoff run and everything. But OKC was still rolling.
yeah,
It was still a well-oiled machine. Obviously,
yeah,
OKC got better with Chet, but they didn't collapse with Chet gone. So
yeah.
yeah, absolutely
And
with you on
like
that.
honestly, like I mean, this spot like would be J Dubs if he had played more than like 5 games, of course.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean, who knows? Maybe by the time we get to the All-Star game, I don't think so. There's not enough time for him to make up that like huge missing half the season by that point. But I mean, like raw numbers wise, like 19 points per game, 8 rebounds, shooting 40% from three this season. Like he's crossed the threshold of like he's making that like Andrew Wiggins All-Star game pretty much. Obviously not as a starter, but I think he's if we're just like if we're gonna we have to give a team who's gonna win like 70 games more than one All-Star. To me that's I've always been a fan of that in the NBA, just like rewarding winning us in that regard. Even if I do think that Devin Booker individually is a better player, or like Jamal Murray individually is a better player. Um, but yeah, I'm with you on that though. I mean, my rest of my picks for the reserves are pretty identical. The only one which I'm really kind of like hesitant on is I mean Jamal Murray this season, career high
He
25
was
points per.
the
Wait,
he
did you
was
have
the one
Murray
I
on this?
felt bad about.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I
Yeah,
did
we both
not.
have
He was the
that,
one
right?
I
Yeah,
felt
I mean
bad
he's
about.
yeah, career high 25 points a night. I mean 4.3 rebounds, 6.5 assists. He's shooting 45.6% from three, 50% from the field. I think that, I mean, Murray is above Booker, at least in my like All Star projections. And Denver is 20-6. Now that I'm like, I feel like Sengun and KD are both still individually better players than Murray. But does it feel right to you to give Houston two of them when you know, they've won a lot less games? And like production wise, they're
Yeah.
not really. Wait, how does that make you
Uh,
feel? Yeah.
makes me feel bad. It does make me feel bad. Honestly,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know. You see, now you have me questioning KD as a
I know what
starter
you're gonna
now
say.
because I feel
I
like
know what you're
KD,
gonna say right now. I know what you're gonna say.
I would, KD. I don't know. There's an art. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad leaving Murray out. I
I was
feel
gonna
bad
say
leaving
because
Murray out.
now that I'm thinking about this a little bit more, I honestly did not. I mean, I didn't look at Murray's raw stats, I guess, that closely. But now that I like, we both have Şengün, of course, over I think like KD in that like regard, right? Especially over the last few games, it feels like he's only
Yes,
been kind
yes.
of deferring to Şengün in the clutch and stuff. Yeah, like can like this. I mean, he's our team is 20-6. Like, what is that on pace for? Like, that's on pace for a 60-win team almost essentially. Um, he's
Feel like
putting up.
Murray and KD are very comparable this season because they're playing close to the same amount of minutes per game. Obviously, the roles are different, but I'm looking at now that I'm here and looking at these and comparing them. I feel like there's an argument to be made that Murray deserves to be an All Star over Kevin Durant. So
And
that that
the other name here is Denny. Um, which I want to give Denny a shout because he's absolutely taken a leap this season, right? Um, but of course the Blazers are like they're 11 and 16. They're a lot worse than. Oh, honestly, screw this. I'm going to keep Danny in. I think I'm going to replace KD with Jamal Murray in my list. It just, I mean, like KD doesn't really have him beat on anything besides like name recognition at this point. I mean, his team is better. He's outproducing him. I think he's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't say
And,
I
and Murray's had
disagree.
some insane games this season. He hit a 50 ball the other night, right? Like, there's I
Yeah,
now I think before I kind of just like okay when I was just kind of eyeballing this, I had um I had Durant over KD over Murray. But again, now that I'm looking at the raw numbers and I mean again, 25 points per night, 6.6 assists, 50% from the field, 45.6% from three. Like he's really honestly I think he's clearing KD in almost every single category actually. Like it's hard for me to not do this. Yeah.
yeah, I would. I'm not gonna go
Are you
back
with
on it,
me?
but what I will say is that there is an argument for Murray over KD. I said what I said. I'm keeping it there, but there is an argument for Murray over KD.
Mm.
Shall we
And I
move
will
to?
say too, I think like Laurie is honestly actually no, I'm gonna keep Laurie on. Laurie's been incredible this
No,
season, dude. Like
Laurie's a
the tough
bucket. Like
the
it's
shots
not.
that he takes.
He's not an empty calorie guy. Like
Yeah,
he would do that on a lot of other
I
teams.
was gonna say I think he
On a
might
team
have
that
like the worst. And when I say worst, I mean like just like the toughest shot creation, like shot selection on everybody here because like that entire offense. I mean they have Keontae George of course too, right? But like it feels like almost all of Laurie's buckets are like self-created still. Um, like he's not really running these like pick and rolls with Keontae George or anything like that. Like he's been taking some like ridiculously like fading, leaning like 19 footers where his torso was like 45 degrees, kind of like that one like Kawhi meme. Um, yeah, but that's those are my thoughts on Laurie. I'm he's in mine, even though I don't know what the Jazz record is. It can't be that good. Yeah, they're 10 and 16. Like it's comparable to the Blazers.
now before we
Yeah.
move to the Eastern Conference, you didn't have
Mhm.
LeBron James as a reserve. Why?
Oh, not even close. Yeah. Like he's I mean, I love LeBron, but you just can't argue for him as an all-star based on like the body of work like going into the game, I
Okay,
think. Yeah.
okay, and I 100% agree. But I'm just saying it goes back to the voting
Yeah.
system. There is no way 50% of fans are not going to vote LeBron in.
Yeah,
And
to
then
be
it
clear, yeah, if this was like the old system, right? Like
LeBron's in every
when
year.
Zaza Pachulia almost made a game, LeBron and
Yeah.
when Yao Ming was like making all-star games, LeBron would be a starter. Yeah. I agree.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But
But that's not the case now.
with the current weight setup, like what did you say it was? It was like 50% fans,
Yeah,
25%
50%
media,
fans.
25% players,
Yep.
right? Like
Yep.
I well, okay, actually, okay, but that's just for the starters though, right? Like the reserves are still picked by the
The
coaches.
reserves are voted on by the coaches, and no coach is going to put
Right.
LeBron in.
I think that okay, yeah. So his only case is really to be a starter. I mean, he's probably going to lead the fan vote, right? Like,
He will not lead the fan vote. No.
you don't think he's going to lead the fan vote?
No. It'll be
I mean, he
Wemby.
was last year. Oh, actually, Jokic beat him in fan voting last year.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, he's not it's going to be I would say a
Wow,
non-American is
actually, no,
going
you're
to
right. He
lead
was like, so he
the
was
fan
third in
vote.
fan voting last year, and that was when he
Yeah.
had like like he actually had an all-star caliber season. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he's the most popular player in the league, but I feel like the league is slowly, or fans are slowly starting to move on to this new generation and get obsessed with the international talent, and rightfully so. Respectfully, LeBron does not deserve to be an all star this year. So fans are not going to make him the top vote getter. I would argue he won't even be top three, if I'm really being honest with you, between Jokic,
And
Victor,
yeah, actually,
and Shai.
I, I think with the context that yeah, I mean he was barely top three last season, and that's when he was actually having like a all-star caliber season. Um, he's probably not going to finish in the top three. I mean, I think that like, I mean, I think Shea is going to get more votes because Shea beat him out. Or he was comparable with Shea last year. So he had more votes than Shea last year. But I think Shea's going to have more votes. Steph's probably going to have more votes. Um, Jokic is going to have more. Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. I think that LeBron, like, he might be like fifth in fan voting, and that's not going to outweigh the media vote. Yeah, I think the players are really a wild card, though.
The players are not a wild card. I don't know why. You see, I don't think the players are just gonna say, "Yeah, we want to see LeBron. Let's put him in." I really think the players are gonna think about this and vote who they deserve or who they think deserves to be an All Star.
I feel like I mean okay we've seen like the players like I think didn't Tyler Kolek get a vote last year or something like
Yes, yes, and that was
like they
definitely
could
from
like they
Jalen Brunson.
the
But
players
besides
are
that,
wild
I'm talking.
cards but like I don't think I, I agree they're not enough of a wild card to sway this. Okay, yeah, so LeBron's not gonna make the All-Star game this season. That's he's gonna break his I mean what's his streak at like
20,
20
something like that.
as many seasons as he's played pretty much. Um no, he didn't make the All Stars team his first year actually as a rookie, surprisingly. Um,
So yeah,
but yeah, okay,
he had 20 consecutive All Star starts, and that came to an end yet last year when he didn't play.
yeah, okay. Well, hey, moving on though, I'm gonna say I have Jamal Murray. I mean, I think KD is gonna make the game anyways because the coaches are gonna. I think the coaches will take him on as a reserve if he doesn't make it as a starter. Which
Yeah,
he might honestly, he probably will make it as a starter. Not like we talked about before for doing predictions. But yeah, I mean that means that okay, honestly, I think the coaches will take Jamal Murray over Lowry or Denny, honestly.
I agree. They're gonna value winning
Yeah,
because that's the most important thing.
yeah.
So
Okay,
I
so
won't
if
be
we're doing
mad at it.
predictions, basically, I think that either between Lowry and Denny, one of these two is getting left off.
It's Denny then. It's Denny.
Okay. You think it's
I
gonna be
think
Den? I I think yeah, I mean we still have another month. Might just be who's hotter by then, of course. But okay, yeah. Moving on though. Let's
yes,
talk about
Eastern Conference.
the
All right.
Eastern Conference now. Yeah,
So
hit me.
I have Tyrese Maxey, Norman Powell, Jalen Johnson, Carl Anthony Towns, Brandon
Wow.
Ingram,
You got okay, wow. I mean, sorry,
Franz
Ingram's not a wow. Ingram's not a wow. Sorry, keep going.
Franz Wagner, not Paolo, Franz Wagner, Franz, and then Josh Giddey.
Okay. Um, so you don't have Scotty Barnes or Bam Adebayo. Those are the two
Brandon Ingram
main, like,
has
biggest names,
elevated that
emissions,
Raptors
right?
team. We spoke about this. Like Brandon Ingram has elevated this Raptors team into a place where we didn't expect. Because even when he was traded there, it's like, all right, everybody's injured. What is this going to look like? And he was the piece that they needed, the shot creator, slim reaper type player that can get his own shot, create his own shots, and be an offensive engine, which he has been. Scotty's been great too. Scotty's on the outside looking in, but Ingram, I think, definitely has been the engine for a Raptors team that is a top four team in the Eastern Conference. Who's the second player you said
Okay.
that you asked if I
Yeah,
left?
okay, to be clear, I am with you. I do have Ingram, I think, over Scotty. Even though like I mean, if you look at Scotty's raw stats this season, they're probably honestly better than Ingram's. Um, but I don't think that captures just how much better he is. Like Ingram actually is offensively than Barnes, even if Barnes is incredible on defense and is averaging like 2 steals and a block per game or something. Um, but I am with you on that note. The interesting one, of course, is Norman Powell over Bam Adebayo. What is your reasoning for that?
It's the offensive end. I mean, Bam's the better defender by far, but Norman Powell, career high in points, near career high in field goal percentage. He's shooting it great from three. He's shooting it great from the charity stripe. And I'm not going to say Miami didn't have a player like Norman Powell, but for him to
I
take
mean,
what he
last
did,
year they kind of didn't. Like Tyler Hero and him are fundamentally different players, I think. Yeah.
but for him to do what he did last year, averaging 22 a game, shooting 48%, and to take that to another level for a Miami team that again just doesn't have the same juice it did when Jimmy Butler was there. I think he
Right.
has positioned himself to be a go-to player for Miami in tight games and in the postseason in the distant future.
So,
So
okay, I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from, of course. But here's my argument. I do agree he's better than Bam on offense, and this is a career year for Norman Powell. It's an all-star caliber season. But when we ask ourselves, okay, why is Miami good? They're 15 and 12, right? Like they're seventh in the East right now. They're a pretty solid team. That's with I think that's with Hero missing like almost all of the season too. They're second in defense. And they're second in defense because of Bam Adebayo. He is the anchor. And of course, Andrew Wiggins plays a huge role too. Davion Mitchell plays a huge role. Norman Powell is honestly, I mean, this season has been pretty good too. In the past, he's kind of been a little bit inconsistent. But Jaime Jaquez Jr. I have a problem pronouncing his name for some reason.
Jaime
Triple J,
Jaquez,
right?
yeah,
Jaime
Triple J.
Jaquez has been playing. Has been a major factor, of course, too. Like it's a team effort to be clear between like Mitchell, especially Mitchell, Wiggins, and Bam. This like three-headed monster on defense. Which I mean, they have an elite defensive guard, elite defensive wing, and of course, one of the best defensive centers in the league. They're winning on the backs of their defense, and I mean they're I think 20th in offense. They're 19th. Sorry, which again without Norman Powell, that would be a lot worse than 20th.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
to me, because okay, they're winning because of their defense, and Bam is their second most important player on offense too, whereas Powell is like their fifth most important player on defense. I'm gonna roll with Bam for my Miami Heat nomination.
But the gap between Powell being the most important player on offense, between Bam being the second most important player on offense, is a large break. Is a large
Is
gap.
it okay? I mean, I don't know. Okay, I don't think that's true
this is
though.
a revamped offense, right? I think you even mentioned it in
And it's
our
not a good
chat.
offense. That's the thing, though. It's a revamped offense,
It's
but
it's it's not. It's the fastest offense in the league. It's putting up some of the worst offense. I think Miami has the lowest single game offensive rating of the season. Three out of
yeah.
Miami's six worst single game offensive ratings of the season came when the Heat were riding a 5 game losing streak. Right? So
Like
the
what I'm saying,
offense sucks.
I agree that Norman Powell was like their best player on offense, right? But like
But
they're not a good
but
offense.
but
Is
he's
the
he's
issue.
powering an offense that sucks. That's the thing. Like he's the best part
I don't.
about this
Is
offense,
he?
and the Heat are still not even a bad team.
Is he? I mean, is he really powering the offense though? I mean, he scores. I mean, he's the leading scorer, but he's not like running the offense as like the point guard. He's not like getting double team. Like he's getting a lot of baskets off like one-on-one situations because they're kind of like, okay, if Norman Powell's gonna beat us, Norman Powell's gonna beat us. And a lot of times like, they don't actually beat the other team based on that, considering the fact that they're like nearing 500. Um, and I could argue that honestly, like, oh wow, dude, Davion Mitchell, by the way, is averaging almost 8 assists per game this season. Really impressive stuff, by the way. Like, I think that I would like the. I just think Bam's defense this season has been, if you when you factor in both Bam's defense and his offense, I think it's been more important to Miami's success than Norman Powell's like offense alone, essentially, because he's not really putting in that much defensively. He's not a liability, but he's not exactly like a positive either. And offensively, look, you have like Jaime Yaquez Jr., who's, I mean, he's averaging like 16, 6, and 5 this season. His passing has been huge. David Mitchell's been passing the ball really well as too. Really well, of course, too. I mean, Wiggins and Bam are both averaging the high teens. Like it's, I don't know. I think that in a vacuum, Bam is still a better player than Norman Powell, and he's played better this season too.
Of course, of course. Bam Bam is the better player as a whole. But if we're talking this season, advanced analytics, I would say, favor Norman Powell. Obviously, I think the offensive end matters a lot more to voters and just the
I just
way
don't
and
think the gap
fans.
in them like offensively is that big though. That's the, like I know Powell is better and he's more skilled,
It really is though.
but
I
I don't
mean, they
think that.
score in different ways. They score in different ways. I don't think
Mm,
you don't have the fastest offense in the league by pace without Norman Powell. You take Bam out of that,
yeah, because he
you'll
kind of
be
just.
able
I
to
mean, you can
maintain
say
that.
he's like he's jacking up threes like anytime he gets on those like transition plays.
Like
Like he's
I really think Norman Powell is an engine for this team. I really do think
I
that.
I think engine. I mean, when I think of engines, I'm thinking Luka Doncic. Like he's not. I don't
Well,
think he's. I just don't think
that's
he's like.
a premium engine. That's a premium engine.
Okay,
That's
like, do you think Norman Powell is an engine the same way Devin Booker is an engine then? Because to
well,
me, I
Devin
think that
Booker
there's a
isn't that great
very
of an
clear
engine right now
separation
because he
between the
did.
two and the amount of offensive responsibilities both guys have.
This season, this season, Booker has more responsibility offensive. Well, over the course of, I don't
I
think
mean,
Norman
okay,
Powell has
but
ever had as much responsibility as Booker has had throughout his career. But this season,
yeah, I mean, but
Norman Powell, there's an
Norman
argument is playing
Powell
better
is
basketball
averaging
than
less assists a night than Nikola Jovic. He's seventh on his team in
what?
assists per game. You can't have an offensive engine who's like not playmaking like not what the best playmaker like one of the best playmakers on his team. Pele
The
Larson
Heat's.
is averaging more assists a night. Andrew Wiggins, who's a wing, is averaging more assists a night. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But in a fast-paced offense like Miami's, everybody's gonna eat. Everybody's gonna eat dishing the rock. But when you talk about
Mm.
scoring the basketball, Tyler Hero would probably be in this argument if Tyler Hero played enough games, but he didn't. But Norman Powell is the first option for Miami and has shown he can be the first option, albeit for an offense
He,
that sucks. But I think that
okay,
lends
well,
itself to the
sorry.
system more than
I,
Powell
I
himself.
I hate to interrupt this part. I agree he's leading us team in points per game, but I don't think he's the first option though, if that makes sense. Like I don't think that like he's the he can be leading the team in points per game without being like the first option. And I'm not saying that Bam is the first option. I don't think this team really has a first option. I think they're kind of just like he just happens to be leading his team in points because he's just like he's not the first guy they go, oh here, Norman Powell, like, we want you to decide his possession. Like that's how it works with traditional first options, right? He might be leading in points per game, but I wouldn't view him that way.
He has shown he can be that way though, and that he has been that way. I mean, it's just we could only go off what we're seeing, and right now we're seeing Norman Powell rise up and be, as I said before, an engine for this Miami Heat offense.
Engine is a very strong word, and it's not one I would use. But
Not
it's
all engines are built the same. Not all engines are built the same,
but you can't have
right?
I
Like
just don't think you can call a player an engine when they're not being asked to be a primary playmaker for their team. You know what I mean? Like I just
you
that
can if they're being asked to
defies
be the
what the word
primary
engine
scorer for the
is.
team. Not everybody can be Nikola Jokic. Okay, like again, not all engines
No,
are
I'm
built
not asking
differently.
to be Nikola Jokic. I'm asking to be
But
like Jalen Brown.
but
Like
sometimes
not just like past the same rate Jalen Brown has been an engine.
sometimes the engine you're only supposed to dish the rock. There have been great engines who are maybe not great scorers that can dish it like no other. But sometimes you're asked to only score the rock and not play make as much because there are other playmakers around you. Norman Powell falls into the latter bucket. He has been so great
Well,
scoring.
the
I'm
thing
not even
is,
gonna act like this.
yeah, but here's the issue: Miami doesn't have enough playmakers around them. Like that's why their
You
offense is
just
so bad. Like they
you
don't have
just you
enough.
just
Like
rattled off.
you should not be asking Jaime Yaquez Jr. to be your team's best passer on the court.
Hey,
That's the problem.
but but also just because it isn't Norman Powell doesn't mean Powell isn't served. Again, not all engines are made the same. Now the car that is the Miami Heat offense is a pretty bad car. But if we're taking the best of the bad, Norman Powell is the best of the bad offensively.
Right, right. But like you can't say, oh, because he's the best of the bad, that means he's better than the guy who's actually better at his current role. You know what I mean? Like he he
Oh,
might
oh,
be an
absolutely,
engine, but like
absolutely,
that alone does not make him like better than Bam.
absolutely.
But okay,
Listen,
honestly, hey, good. I see your point. I'll disagree with it. Honestly, I don't have any other like I don't have any other like really real points with the rest of. Oh crap! I forgot about Jalen Duren. Um, did you have him on your team? You had
you
him on
know,
your
you
roster,
know,
right?
I did not have him on my roster, but he definitely deserves a shout because Cade is not carrying that team on his own. That team gives you flashbacks of old. It's as if you took the old Detroit Pistons teams from the early 2000s and then modernized them to 2025 with the pace and everything. Jalen Duren is a dog. If I were to take somebody off my list and put Duren in, it would be Franz Wagner. I feel like the Pistons being 21-6, having the best record in the Eastern Conference, albeit in a weak Eastern Conference. If you were to say, yeah, 21-6 deserves two All Stars, I wouldn't even argue with you. Jalen Duren has
I think
deserved
Jalen
that type of
Duren
praise.
should get consideration. I would put Jalen Duren over. I mean, I this kind of just missed my like my me completely because I didn't. I was like he's closer to being okay. Maybe he's not closer to being a starter. Sorry, but he's closer to like my like seventh or eighth All Star. Like he's above Josh Giddey, Brandon Ingram. The only like reserves I have over Jalen Duren are Jalen Johnson. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just Jalen Johnson, honestly, who's having an incredible year. Like I feel like that's obvious.
No, there's no
He's a good
way.
remember.
Wait, so you have read me off your starters again?
So my starters, I have Giannis, Jalen Brown.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Tyrese
Okay.
Maxey too. Um,
Okay,
I have
that's what I was
Giannis.
getting at. That's what I was
Yeah,
getting at.
Giannis,
That's what I was
Jalen
getting at.
Brown, Jalen Brunson, Kate Cunningham, Donovan Mitchell, and then I have Tyrese Maxey and Jalen Johnson above Duran,
So you
and
think
that's
you think
it.
you think Duran's having a better season than Carl Anthony Towns?
Karl Anthony Towns is not. Oh, I forgot you had him on your list too. I got so caught up on Norman Powell. Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns is not
I,
really in my All Star converse. Okay, I think he's comparable to like Franz Wagner's case, and I think if the Knicks keep on, because he's had a slow start, that's the issue. But the Knicks keep on winning, like at the rate they have been recently, um, and Cat, you know, plays better. I would like to probably have him over like Franz Wagner, and Bam Adebayo, of course, too. Um, maybe Giddy. I don't know. I feel like,
no,
I mean, Giddy's
Giddy's
kind of
out.
like the
No, Giddy. The only reason Josh Giddy is not an All Star lock as a reserve is because of his team record. Do that on it, like average 29-9 on a team that's actually great, and you're an All Star instantly. Like honestly, there's no reason to not have Josh Giddy as an All Star.
yeah, but I don't
Seriously,
think, but Josh Giddy isn't averaging 29 and 9 on a good team. Like no, like a team with Josh Giddy, running the entire show, averaging 20 points a game and 9 assists. Like he needs to, he like I don't know what his use. Okay, let's check his usage rate
that's
right
a
now.
damn good team. That a team with Giddy averaging
Absolutely
29
not.
and
I mean, he needs to. I mean, Josh Giddey needs to dominate the ball to do what he's doing right now.
yeah, but is that
Yeah,
really an
his
argument? Is
usage
that
rate
really an
like
argument against?
26%.
Is that really an argument against him to be an all-star though?
Well, what I'm saying is, you're saying, oh, imagine he's averaging 29 and 9 on a good team. I'm saying he's no good team is having Josh Giddey average 29 and 9. Like
No good,
that's like a paradoxical situation, hypothetical to
no
me.
good team is having Josh Giddey average 29 and 9.
Like that's like saying, I mean, who's a player who's like playing up? That's like saying to me, imagine Danny like Larry Markkinen was averaging 28 on like the number one seed in the league. Like, yeah, like he would be an MVP candidate, but he's not. He's not doing that on the number one seed in the league. You know,
No,
same as
Laurie
Jalen
can't do
Brown.
that though. Laurie can't do that
No,
though.
Laurie Markkinen is not going to be leading a team to a number one seed in the entire league, averaging 29 per game, dude.
Oh no, no, no. I'm not saying he's gonna carry a team to a number one seed. You can Laurie average 25 to 28 on the team that's the number one seed? Yes, he can.
There is a huge gap between those two numbers, by the way.
20, I
There's
mean,
absolutely a huge gap in those two numbers.
26 to 28. I mean,
I think Josh Giddey could average like he can probably still average like close to 20. Like let's say like 18, 19, and like, seven assists on like a really good team. But in
if he
order
did
for him to
20,
average like 28 and 9 right now, he's like dominating the ball every single possession essentially.
28
And
and
no team
8,
with Josh Giddey dominating the ball every possession is going to be winning a lot of games.
that's what I mean. You could probably make the postseason.
You could say
Probably
what?
be top 8. You could probably make the postseason with Josh Giddey running your show, which in turn would be an
I
all-star
don't think
for Josh
so. I don't think there's a playoff team out there with Josh Giddey as their number one option. Like the number one, like, yeah, I don't think there's one that exists out there.
number one.
No.
Is he the number one option even for the Bulls right now?
Josh Giddey? I mean, I
Josh,
think so.
I
I mean,
mean,
it'd be like, no, even if like, okay, I don't think there's no way Vooch is averaging more points per game, is he? Um,
well, no, because we would have him
yeah.
as
Oh
an all.
crap. Kobe White. Sorry, Kobe White's actually only played half the season. Never mind. Yeah,
Yeah,
Josh
yeah,
Giddey's
yeah,
the number
no.
one option.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is the number one option.
And
So he
here's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, Josh Giddey is having an all-star caliber season, of course, to me. Um, like he's basically averaging a triple double. Like to be clear, he's solid in my book. I'm just saying, like, you can't like project this hypothetical and say, oh, imagine these numbers on a good team, because I don't think he's having these numbers on a good team.
well, the hypothetical. Well, I have him as an all-star no matter what, so I don't think the hypothetical is necessarily needed here, but
Yeah,
we
I think
didn't.
I would put him on like knocking him off watch if Cat comes back.
I
If
mean,
sorry, if the Knicks keep on winning and
for
Cat
for
keeps
example,
on.
for example, Western Conference, right? We didn't have Harden, but Harden deserves to be an all-star, right? But no, because of the Clippers' wins or the Clippers' record. But is Harden averaging 26, 5, and 8 on a team that's actually good? That's absolutely realistic. But the reason we're not going to have him
I
as an
mean,
all-star
okay,
is because the Clippers suck.
two things. I honestly, I don't think Harden is averaging 26, 5 and 8 on a good team at this point. And the other thing is like, oh, sorry. Well, I think we're lagging a little bit here. You've been frozen for a moment. Um, but like my thing is, okay, so like, would James Harden be like in your All-Star like reserves for the East then if he was having his exact same season in the East?
That's a great question. Well, yeah, he's having a
Like,
better season.
I think the answer is
No,
no.
no. I mean, he's having a better season than Franz, right? And
No, well, here's what I'm saying. I don't think so, because I think that you can't just look at the raw production. I think Franz Wagner is absolutely having a better season than James Harden. And I think Giddey is having a better season than Harden too, to be clear. Um, but Franz Wagner is definitely because Franz Wagner one defensively is a lot better than both of these guys, and that's not even like a debate. And second of all, like considering how like, I mean, Franz is on. I mean, Franz is on like he's on the borderline for sure. Um, I don't know. Um, hey, we said this was gonna be easy. This is getting a little bit harder. Like we're sweating a little bit more than you thought, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, oh my goodness. Josh Giddey deserves to be there. He deserves to be there.
As
But
of right
it's,
now, I have Josh Giddey above Cat. Um, but
that's
I
fine.
would
I
if like
mean, oh no.
let's say the Knicks keep on winning, which I think they honestly might, and Cat starts like his numbers starts going back up to what it was compared to the start of the season. I think Cat knocks off Giddy. I mean Giddy and Franz are actually I don't think I have Franz on my list actually. No, I
Yeah,
don't. Sorry.
Paolo?
Um, no, I mean my reserves are I mean I have Duran, I have Giddy, I have Ingram, I have Johnson. Wait, sorry, I accidentally deleted my list earlier. I'm trying to. Okay, sorry, no, my seven reserves are so I have Maxi, I have Jalen Johnson, that's two. I have Jalen Dern, three. Brandon Ingram, four. I have did I say Giddy already?
You did.
Okay, it's four. I had Bam, five. And then yeah, I had Franz. Hold on, I have what am I doing? Okay, sorry for this organization here.
Nah,
Okay, I
you're
had
good.
Bam, I had Duran, I had Johnson, I had Maxi, I had Giddy, I had Ingram. Yeah, and I had Franz my seventh. Okay, yeah. So yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry, that is what I had before. And then Cat is the person who I think is okay. No, you know what? No, you're right. I think Giddy is safe. I think Franz would probably be the first person who's on the chopping block. Um, given like Cat and Nick's like returning to being,
Yeah, but
you know,
you do. So you would have an all-star for the top 10 teams in the Eastern Conference, but not Orlando. Who's at number six?
yeah. Because to me, it's like I mean, Orlando might be in the top 10, but they're not a good team, and their record isn't exactly like great either. I don't think like the standings necessarily like oh because the Magic have like one more win than like the team behind them.
Well, I'm
You
just
know what I
saying.
mean? Like
I'm
it's
just
that's not
saying,
that
right?
important to me.
Like the I'm just telling you what it is. And if you include starters, you have an all-star from every team in the top 11 in the Eastern Conference except Orlando. That's interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean the other thing with Franz too is like he's I mean he's hurt right now, right? Yeah, he's hurt, he's injured. Um, he's gonna miss like multiple weeks.
Yeah, but
That's
I
another
mean,
like that's the reason why I have like that's again. I think Franz is having a better season than Giddy, but the fact that he's gonna miss games. I'm sorry, I don't know if I mentioned that before earlier, but the fact that he's probably gonna miss games, like yeah, I'd rather take like 10 extra games of Josh Giddy versus like that for Franz.
there is an argument to be made that you could just put Paolo in there instead of Franz.
I mean, Paolo's frankly been kind of not great this season. He's also missed a lot of games too, as well himself. Yeah, I think Paolo's missed like half the season, and he's only averaging like 20 points per game. I don't know. I don't think Paulo can
And
make up
that's what I'm
enough
saying.
ground, honestly.
You're rewarding a lot of
Yeah.
players or a lot of teams, but you're not rewarding a team that's smack in the middle.
Well, yeah.
You
Well,
know,
here's what
and
I'm saying. Like as of right now, I would have Franz Wagner in over Cat. But as the season goes on and the Knicks keep on winning, and I think the Magic will drop as Franz sits games, they might not be in that top 10 or 11 teams at that point. Um, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, hey, I see you're yawning a little bit. It's like I know it is like 2 a.m. over there. But
No,
hey,
yeah.
perfect timing though, because we just finished. We just kind of went through our entire list though. Um, yeah, you got any
Not a
final
lot
thoughts at
of
least?
I mean, not a lot of disagreement. I mean, we could probably revisit this in like a month or so, like let's say like the week before these all actually get announced, then kind of see where we're at with things
Yeah.
because it was fairly easy to do this, and I think injuries have played a huge part. But now that you one of the main things that you said that kind of have has me thinking is one, how the voters will view Victor Wembanyama. We don't know if he's going to play a lot of games by the time the All Star voting closes. If he doesn't, then why should he be a starter? Giannis Antetokounmpo, if he doesn't return in time to play a lot of games before All Star starting closes, why should he be a starter? But also, if those guys are not starters, coaches are going to vote them in anyway. But I'm still curious to see what that top five would look like.
Hmm. Hey, pretty good summary there. Yeah. Um, yeah. I think my revelation was, which while we're recording this was, I think I have Jamal Murray as an all-star over Kevin Durant, even though there's zero chance that will actually happen. Um, but yeah. Well, hey, thank you to anybody who listened through this whole thing. Um, yeah. Thank you again for joining me. And
Always. And by the
yeah,
way, I
we'll
got
see
to
you for the
show
next
off
one.
my I got to show off my ugly sweater. You know,
Oh yeah.
night
I complimented that at the beginning of this before I started recording. Y'all didn't see it.
plus a little
Um,
tie. Yeah, we
Pretty
went
sick, dude.
crazy.
Is
We
that
went
from
crazy.
Target?
Walmart.
Is that from Target? Walmart. Okay, I've
Wa-
seen some pretty
yeah,
sick sweaters at Target. Yeah, I
but
saw like
twenty
a really
three
sick
dollars.
Snoopy one.
$23 though. I kept my receipt, so I'm going to return this right away.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was good.
Damn, are you serious? You can wear it. You can still wear it next year. Um,
That is true. That is true. But I want to freshen
yeah.
it up. Like people are going to remember that I wore because I wore it on air for a show. But I want to come with a
Mm,
different type of juice next year. So we'll see.
mm. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Well, hey, have a great holidays, everybody. Um, and yeah, we'll probably see you in a bit then.
Yes,
Thanks.
sir.